Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your Beyond the Asians presentation of the... What are we doing?
Dota.
Alright, here we go. It's going to be LGD Gaming versus Alliance GG. This is an exciting match. Both these teams right now at 3-0. Of course, when you only have 5 teams to play against, 3-0 is a very exciting place to be at.
Yeah, especially with how the tournament's set up. Just getting first in the group stage means you come top 2. That's actually pretty ridiculous in terms of
That's
standings.
a big deal, and Alliance could be finishing second, which I'm sure a lot of the international community didn't think they could, because they're going into Chinese territory.
They could even be winning it.
They could be winning the whole thing right now. And we're going to be seeing how well they play. I think this match could be an early glimpse of the grand finals, because both these teams right now are playing at top their game. Your predictions, AI?
I think that LGD has been a bit more impressive.
Okay.
But Alliance has been doing strategically. They've been clearly the best teams. Their pocket strategy for Roshan was just unbelievably smart.
So execution, you go with LGD, but strategy prepared Alliance.
I think LGD has a bit more experience, a bit more execution.
Well, given the fact that this is Beyond the Agents, you know what? It's clear for me that we're going to be going cheering for LGD, and let's actually go into the draft. For the first ban here, we have the Chen as well as the Wisp being banned out. It seems like the Chinese says, all right, we'll ban out the Wisp against a Western team. Male Alliance is going to say, we'll ban out the Shadow Demon against the Western team, as well as the Bat Rider. LG is going to be pick up Lone Druid first. Mio Magnus and Keeper of Light is going to be the answer back. So S4's Magnus, well, I assume it's going to be S4 Magnus. It could be actually some of the off-lane Admiral Bulldog Magnus, but I assume so far it's S4 Mag. And what do you know about his playstyle on the Magnus? He seems like he doesn't miss too many RPs, and his blink skewers have been destructive so far.
Yeah, S4 is one of the best Megs in the Western scenes by far. Quite possibly the best one, but don't quote me on that. I don't usually watch that many mid players actually when I'm looking to learn. I hope that they pick up the Clockwork. I keep saying that. I hope they pick up the Clockwork here. I think it's good versus both Meg and Keeper of the Light throughout the entire game. Not just because he dominates mid, but for other reasons. Oh.
Well, they're going to go with the hero that we quite like quite a bit. It's going to be Kunkka. Judging from the laning, it seems like he might be going to be going for a solo mid Kunkka. Although, if it's going to be a carry-ish Kunkka, it's possible as well with the Darkster on the support. But so far, Xiaowei has been pretty spectacular on the Kunkka, and that's where he'll be playing it.
Yeah. Xiaowei's Kunkka has been... He's been hitting Torrents without any setup. And Torrent... Like, people think LSA is hard to hit. Torrent has a 3 times longer delay on it, and it's
but you also have 3 times the cast enemy, or the cast range.
Yeah, that is true. But still, Torrent, pretty hard spell to hit off no setup at all.
Yeah, so far the build that we've been seeing out of Kunkka is actually Torrent only leaving it at level 2, and then you max Tidebringer, and then you actually go for X marks the spot at 8 or 9. And that gives you the early game setup that you could pick off some of these squishier supports, such as Keeper of Light and Rubik.
Yeah, I really like that setup, just because team fights tend to happen a lot earlier right now, and having a level 2X, a boat, and a torrent by the time you're level 9, it's actually pretty ridiculous how much damage Kunkka deals out. You have 300 damage from a level 1 boat, one of the highest level 1 nukes on the ultimates. You have 180 from torrent, and you have a Tidebringer, which is going to deal around I would say 150 pure damage, so basically a 200 damage nuke. That's like around 700 AoE just from one hero.
Just from one hero, and so far Darkster is going to provide a lot of other spells as well, such as the Vacuum. It might not be that highly leveled during those early game team fight, but the Iron Shell as well as Surge is going to be a pretty big deal as well. For me right now, judging from the draft that LG has constructed so far, if they could pick early game team fights and win those early game team fights without the Lone Druid, they're going to be in a really good position.
Yeah, they really are. And even transitioning into the late game, this is a really good setup. You have 3 heroes that are very strong at team fighting early, mid game, and late game. And Kunkka, not the best carry late, but you do have that potential for a big splash, which can completely turn the team fight in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, generally you don't look to winning the late game if you're having the Kunkka. You want to dominate the mid game, which is what the hero designed to do. You talked about the damage output just at level 9. Obviously, it gets a lot better at level 11 when you have max Torrent as well as a second level of the boat. But we're in the second ban phase here, as Visage and PA now being banned out. So both teams really respecting the offensive power and the draft coming out previously from the other teams.
I think PA is a really smart ban by LGD. I actually think that Alliance maybe should have picked up PA as their 3rd pick. She's very strong versus Kunkka. She's very strong versus Lone Druid. Well, Kunkka does have the X to lock her down, but being mobile in team fights against a Lone Druid, I don't know. I just really like her with the Lone Druid, and she's very good with Meg just because he RPs, you immediately get on top of them, whereas some carries you have to get closer and you waste some of the RP time. she's also one of the stronger laning carries. I find it very hard to lane as lone druid versus something like a PA because she can solo you from just so far range that the support can catch up, stun you, and then suddenly there's a blink straight PA and you're dead.
Yeah, what we see out of Alliance's PA a lot is to set up the Chen, set up the telekinesis lift. For me, I actually don't mind PA not being picked up till much later on. I feel like PA in this game, most likely, if we see the first 3 draft against Darkseer Kunkka, she might be forced into early BKB because there's so much magical damage. And early BKB isn't a bad thing for PA, but the worst thing is that it will debuff your Magnus in power, so she loses a bit of late game power in that instance, or in that scenario. So maybe PA not being picked up is the correct thing. Well, we won't really know because PA is now banned out. It's going to be Jakiro and Nyx Assassin banned for Alliance, and now Nature's Prophet and Alchemist being banned out here from LGD.
And LGD is looking for 2 supports, I believe, here. I actually think that Lone Druid probably won't be offlane. I hope that they put a Darkseer in the offlane, and if they think that Alliance isn't aggressive, then they just give him the bear. A Darkseer already gets really good levels offlane or in the jungle. With a bear, it's just even better.
Yeah, what we saw, I think, out of LGD yesterday, or maybe from one of the Chinese team, they had a Rubik lone druid defensive dual lane, had a Darkseer in the jungle, and then they even put a Clockwork top. I think that was coming out from IG themselves. That was a fairly weak lane stage, but they made it work. Yeah, it was IG versus Orange. I think we were casting that one as well. We'll see if LGD is going to be taking a similar approach. I mean, there's so much versatility as well. They could just put Darkseer mid and just go offensive tri-lane with Kunkka. That's not a bad way to go about it as well.
That's definitely not bad, just because you're able to put Lone Druid in that 1v1. I mean, last game we did see an aggressive Darkseer tri-lane, but I really don't like Darkseer in the aggressive. Ooh.
All right.
Those long-range stuns coming up.
I'm getting excited for this. Yesterday we saw something like a Twin-Head Dragon, or Jakiro, Earthshaker, and Visage. And today, if you want to trade off Visage for Kunkka, both heroes act in a very similar way, where you initiate from long range, you do a ton of burst damage, and ultimately you're a fairly good at harassing a lane. You're very tanky in team fights, and we'll see. Visage being banned out, but Kunkka sort of interchangeable.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analysis here. Something else is that Earthshaker is actually very strong for someone like a Meg. Sort of similar to how Tidehunter is very good against Meg, but a bit different. Tidehunter, you can just stand in Meg's RP. Kraken Show will proc it off you. PL.
Yeah, PL is going to be the pickup here in conjunction with Keeper of Light. So the good old PL Keeper combo, we haven't seen it too much, but how does it actually match up against Darkseer, Kunkka, and Earthshaker, who does have a ton of AoE to deal with this?
I mean, the thing about PL is it's not really so much about the AoE. By the time you need AoE to kill the illusions, you're already not in the great spot. I mean, it's nice because you can clear it out, defend your base a bit easier. But against PL, you really want to be able to pressure him with sort of an early mid-game fighting force. I would have,
then judging from what you just said,
strong lanes, I mean.
Right, and judging from you saying that, I don't think LGD is actually hurting for strong lane. They do have strong lanes. Like, they have one of the strongest kind of level 1 killing combo.
Kunkka, Earthshaker, and aggressive isn't the strongest though. That's the only thing that, 2 melee, and not particularly high on the DPS portion. Like, you really do want range shields in an aggressive try just because you can force people out, you can harass. That being said, it's not that bad. I actually expect that they'll just go to the short lane and farm an item. The Shadow Shaman means they're definitely short laning.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be safe laning. They want to rise at least for quick level 6s on their supports and then just go. That will give Alliance a ton of time to not only farm their PL, but also, again, important to reiterate, they're so good at stacking the jungles, they're so good at stacking multiple camps, and that will allow Keeper of Light and Rubik to get a ton level because the AoE is right there for them to easily break these camps.
This is smart. You can be so greedy on the Radiant pull. You can get both heroes up to level 6 by, I would say, 8-9 minutes just by using pulls. It's really quick because maybe even faster than if you're using both heroes, because I know one hero gets there by 7 minutes, but that's when the creep wave dies and you're pulling a bit slower. You can do those triple pulls that are ridiculous.
So we're going to see Clockwork going to be the last pickup. So the laning situation should be as such. Clockwork on the suicide lane, Magnus on the mid, and then tri-lane top for Alliance. And then for LGD should be Kunkka mid. Yeah, Xiao A has selected the hero, and it's going to be a Bear on the bot lane?
Yeah, I think it's
Bear on the bot lane with a whole bunch of pulls.
With pulls. I don't really know how I feel about this too much, but I guess with the Rasta pick, there's their only setup. I really would have liked to see a range show top, just because I feel like if you play the Bear properly, you can deny 2 or 3 waves from the PL just by pulling the wave in between your tier 1 and tier 2 towers. You can pull it up the ramp by attacking the creeps with your range show. and there are 2 ramps, so it's a bit hard to do, and then there's 1 fogged area as well. But if you can deny waves against a PL, it's just good, right? Like, you're denying their carry full waves of gold and EXP.
Yeah.
And
although I haven't seen actually the Chinese have been practicing those kind of strats.
It feels like they just don't know about it, which again, it's sort of weird. They should definitely sort of know about these tricks, but like they can't stop it either. They have a Rubik, a Kodo, and a PL. None of those heroes really kill the bear, and they don't even hurt the bear enough that you can't do it a second time. So that's already 2 free ways, and you get resummon. He can deny, I would say, like 3 or 4 ways if he plays it perfectly.
Well, Sylar unfortunately will be going bot most likely. After that last game performance, I'm not sure. I don't think you were watching it, but really we need to rename this hero. Like instead of Lone Druid or Celebrate, you should call it Sylar Bear because
that I heard about it. Like everyone was trying to explain it to me, but everyone at the end everyone was like, no, you just need to watch it. It was just too good.
Yeah.
And that's really what happens when you have a really sick play.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that haven't watched it, I urge you guys to check out the VODs or have the G1 ticket and download the replay to watch it. But let's quickly introduce the heroes and players in this game. It's going to be DDC playing the support Earthshaker DD on Shadow Shaman, Sylar playing the Lone Druid, and of course we'll have Xiao Ace Kunkka, and up on the top lane solo, it's going to be Yao's Darkseer.
And starting with Alliance, we have S4 playing the Magnetar, we have Aki playing the Keeper of the Light, we have Phantom Lancer picked up by Loda, we have Rubik played by EGM, and we have Clockwork played by Admiral Bulldog.
Yeah, Admiral Bulldog, here's the big difference between the 2 lineup. It's kind of suicide versus try, suicide versus try. The big difference is that if Yao have enough pressure against him, he could easily duck into the defensive jungle, whereas Clockwork's going to be a lot more difficult. So he is going to be relying on his cogs to try to block the creep equilibrium for a bit and then get the creep equilibrium closer to his tower. But he's not going to ever see the creep wave because it's going to be constantly pulled.
So they are sending that bear top. I do like that. I think that if you look over here, I think you should be pulling the creeps here. I think it's a bit more safe if you go over to the right a bit more.
Ooh, nice blocking coming out from the 2 supports, and they have actually trapped in the bear. No, it found the way. There is no tango. They lift him, and will toss it back. The trees have been destroyed, and the pull will actually go through. But they actually did a ton of damage.
Yeah, they did way more damage than those supports should for sure. And this is sort of LGD's fault. Like, there's no reason you wouldn't put your tango on the bear when you're trying to pull with it.
Ooh, actually, nice play here by Aki, stopping one of the pulls by at least pulling the creep wave from the neutral. To actually deny as well.
It's actually really nice because now the lane will not kill as many of the Radiant creeps. Just because he doesn't have that range run. If you have a range run, then you can sort of have your lanes fight 1v1. So that's quite nice for them. Clockwork is trying to call the creeps back at bottom, but I don't expect him to get very much CS.
Yeah, you can see that right now DD has level 1 Eddershock, and he's going to be spamming it. Level 1 Eddershock is actually one of the highest single target nukes, and you could actually just kind of trade 1 for 1. Clockwork's going to have regen, but at the same time, what are you really doing with your basic mana regen? Because you're going to be pulling all day long anyways. You do see that Yellow, which is the Earthshaker player, already stacked it once, and will be denying this entire creep wave.
Surprising, Clockwork is actually almost going to hit level 2 here, I think.
Yeah, actually, how has he really doing
He's just been cogging really well, and I think LGD made a mistake. Instead of pulling at 45 and then just pulling to the next medium camp,
they stacked it.
They stacked it. And you could do that double pull just because you have 2 supports. You can't really contest you. Normally, you're like, oh, I really don't want him to contest, so I'll take the safe route. I'll single pull, I'll stack and then pull. But it's a lot less EXP this way. If you look here, the first wave has already been killed off, whereas by now, this camp would be respawning again at the 2-minute mark, and then the top camp will be respawning again, and the creep wave would already have done half the damage to that hard camp at the left, or the middle. So they could be having level 2 on both their supports right now.
Well, instead they're going to have level 2 on Shadow Shaman, who just turned it. Clockwork's going to be checking for a rune. Not going to find it. Magnus has bottled a regen rune on the mid lane, so that's going to be very helpful. The bear gets resummoned on the bot, so no more pulling shenanigan. Sylar really needs that bear to help him tank on the bot lane, as he's really... The support has been pulling very heavily. How about the support on the top lane? As I quickly check on the level, only Keeper Alive have hit level 2, and they've been doing an excellent job pulling on the top lane as well. I did see a big stack going for the level 1 camp, and they will be pulling in this particular camp as well. And yeah, as expected, the Lion support will be able to pull as easily, and maybe even overtake in terms of level, because they have they have Fable as well as Illuminate to blast creeps very quickly.
With that said, the Radiant jungle is a lot better for leveling. So
if they tunnel through that, but they haven't done it.
Which is, it's sort of weird, and they also have to tunnel through this way, which, well, they don't have to be entries, but it's sort of obnoxious pull to do. It's very easy to center to stomp and just mess you up. If we look over at the mid lane though, it's going quite even. I actually rate denies above CS in mid. That's more of a personal thing. I think that if you can deny a lot of stuff, then the lane will go better for you, but now Kunkka just got the last deny, and... Oh, Torrent.
Ooh, Torrent is actually barely going to hit S4. S4 is going to look for a skewer backwards. No, a ton of harass coming out there. And when you talk about the deny apartment, Xiaoe actually has the advantage because of Tidebringer.
Yeah, he does. I mean, at the same time, there is a shockwave, which makes it very hard to deny without getting harassed, but you're completely right with that. If you look at how Xiaoe played that when he was torrenting the Meg, it was so perfect. He sort of like kited him to the side. He made sure he didn't like over animation cancel forward so that there's no chance of him getting scared. And Clockwork just hit level 2, so hey, at least he has some rockets.
Yeah, the rocket flare is actually a pretty big thing. If you're smart about it, you can fire the rockets at the camp before the spawn time, and that will block the camp, right?
The rocket has to be flying in the air when the camp respawns. It can't be like you hit the rocket and there's vision there. The rocket itself has to be in the camp, which is really hard to do. But at this level of play, I almost want to say I expect them to know the timings for that.
Yeah, well, you should definitely practice the timing.
Yeah.
Also, the other added benefit is that you can actually try to steal a couple creeps in the enemy neutrals by rocketing them as well. And that will actually mess up the pull timing from the support. So
it's actually sort of next level to just have a Clockwork down there and just being able to deny the pull completely. Because especially against some tri-lanes, some teams, like I guess my team included, you put really greedy tri-lanes. And if you can lock down the supports early, you're going to almost just win the game just from that, because they're relying on the supports to do stuff in the early mid game.
Uh-oh, looks like Admiral Bulldog might be giving a first blood. The Fissure will hit the Ether Shock and to a Shackle. Unfortunately, Earthshaker really won't join the fight. The Cog's not really helping out, and the first blood will go to Sylar. Very easy gank. He did not have sight in the jungle, and you basically kind of expect this coming out.
And I'm actually curious if Sylar will choose this game as a game to go Radiance instead of Armlet. I've been a huge proponent of the Armlet build, but Radiance against PL sort of just lets you push up into his face, like right before he hits a timing. I would prefer that he go, like I don't want him to skip the Armlet completely. I want him to go Armlet into Radiance actually. That's the preferred build I have for this game.
Well, we'll see whether he's going to go. Armlet's still one of the best items to go. You can see that EGM's been standing here for like the past minute or so, but this Observer Ward have been scouting things out. Both teams have smartly placed Observer Wards away from their tri-lane. Yeah. Normally teams don't expect this, but both teams have made that trip, and now both the solo mids not really getting ganked as a result. And EGM's wasting a ton of time.
Do you know which support placed that ward on the Radiant side on the hill? Was that was right at the start? Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I didn't really see the supports move. Maybe they just saved on a Crow and delivered to Kunkka and placed themselves. But I think they placed that way back. Oh, they actually do deliver Observer Wards to Kunkka here. So
and now Kunkka will be placing one, and this particular ward will be fairly important, especially during the first Nightfall. You might see a couple of supports TPing to the tier 1 tower in conjunction with the RP going for the kill. EGM's coming right in, but Xiaoe, correct response, quickly moves back.
Yao just got a ton of creeps and CS there. He got some stacks. Aki tried to take it with his Illuminate, but I think the Darkseer got most of those, if not all. I'm a bit bad with colors, so I couldn't really see who got the gold there, but yeah.
Well, in any case, I mean, as a result, you see at level 5 Darkseer to a level 2 clock? Level 3 clock at this point. Looks like we have a little bit of rotation from DDC, that is the support shaker. They could go for a kill right now, right? Fissure, Torrent, Bolt. Unfortunately, Torrent will miss. The mana is a little bit of an issue, but he does have bottle in a regen in his bottle, so I think they should be making this kill attempt at the very least.
That was... Yeah, I don't know. The problem I have when mid puts a ward like here, this one over here, is that it's sort of very obvious where the mid placed it. There have been a lot of games where we've given wards to our mid player, and then he places wards, and then suddenly we're blind for the next 6 minutes because they take the time to counter it. So I think Alliance, if they sort of click the inventory, oh, RP.
Yeah, mid lane is going to be RP into a skewer backward and Illuminate. Xiaoe though, very tanky again. He throws out the bow. That's going to eat the shockwave. Looks like he takes like absolutely 0 damage. Will bottle up. The Coco 1 will wear off. And you can see his HP will be dropping.
That was a really nice play by Xiaoe, but I feel like he shouldn't have used the bottle before the Coco run wore off. If you go below, if you are at 1 HP and the Coco War starts running off, then you don't actually lose any additional HP. So that bottle HP heal actually didn't do anything for him there.
Another Torrent flies out in the middle lane. Yeah, he missed a little bit of value, but perhaps...
Yeah, it's not too bad, because maybe he was scared that someone would come in
and kill him.
So maybe it's a more safe play, but he did have that ward, so I feel like he should have, but this is like such a small thing, honestly.
Now here's the one thing I've been noticing is that there's a lot of rotation towards mid lane, and surprisingly Yao hasn't been on the top lane getting EXP as a result. He's been jungling. Or is it more like because he is jungling, the support on the top lane is freely to leave, and that's why we see a lot of gank on the mid?
Like, honestly, I think it's sort of a bit of both. I think that Yao should get back up there. I think that he was a bit greedy in doing that extra camp, and he should have just rotated back to top. He would have got more EXP and more gold than doing that hard camp there.
Well, he'll TP up
look at
top
bottom.
right
They're
now.
trying to defend this, but there's a bear.
Yeah, bear with the armlet. I mean, we talked about one of the fastest timing on the armlet. He's got a boot to speed, so it's not a completely naked rush. Meanwhile, Xiao A in the jungle, he's gonna get lifted. He's gonna get tossed back. S4, he's gonna get himself a nice shockwave. Fissure gonna be there. Torrent, bow, what a combo! It's gonna hit perfectly. Of course, the bow again using it for the Coco Rum. He's gonna be running to the right, and he will make it home. Very nicely played by Xiao A.
And that's a lot of time wasted just from Alliance. They're rotating all the way towards the bottom rune with 3 heroes, whereas Kunkka was able to just survive and...
Well, I mean, he's going to force a TP all the way back home.
That is true, but he needed to go heal anyways.
Yeah, Shaker was forced to throw out Fissure, but for the most part, a slight victory here for the LGD team. And of course, they were able to destroy a tier 1 tower on the bot. I mean, Alliance have been looking extremely dominant throughout the tournament, but so far, they're not really getting the early game advantage they're accustomed to. We talked about that early courier kill, we talked about the early Roche kill. It's even standing for both of these teams, and it seems like LG is actually doing a lot better. Now, 2,000 goal lead despite no tower going down, so LG is just farming raw better.
They did take that bottom tower.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I just
that's still not 2,000 gold, right?
Right.
I would say, what is that, like 700 gold ahead? Not
close to 1,000, close to it. Yeah.
So it's still good for them, right? They're still in the lead, and I think that really comes down to the fact that I want to say the Radiant jungle is better, but you can't really say that because they didn't. I thought they utilized it a bit worse. I think that both supports should definitely be level 6 by 10 minutes if they're that Radiant jungle. Plus, they got that first blood. So really, the goal is just the first blood.
Yeah, it's very close to it. It looks like they're going to look for a second kill. Ammo Bulldog level 4, staying very far back as he has no idea where the support is. Here's where having a Shaker is very nice because the initiation range is so long. Oh, what a miss, Fissure. But there is going to be a nice route as a result. Ethershock should get the kill. They do get it. And here comes S4. The X from the mid lane cancels the TP. What a play from Xiao A.
That was just good.
Yeah, I mean, that was just good stuff.
I don't really know how to put it. Oh, and top. The Darkseer actually goes down.
They were able to get us a return kill, a rebuttal kill with the lances, lift into Illuminate. That's nice and all, but canceling the TP or actually stopping the TP and getting us tier 2 tower as a result in the bot lane. I mean, we're seeing one of the most snowball carries in the form of Sylar Syllabear in a long while. Like, he has got no gang, he's got absolute free form, his supports are doing quite well. Shadow Shaman about to hit level 6, and once you do, these outer towers on the outer lanes, they're going to be in big trouble.
Sylar got both the towers there. If you look at his net worth, he's 1,000 ahead of the PL, and they were both free farm.
And well, he was involved in a couple kills, so that was a
maybe he missed the tier 1 last hit, I think. But I'm not sure on that. I should have actually checked that. My bad on that.
Well, no big deal here, as we do see Yao going back on the top lane. Despite having a very tough time kind of getting killed back and forth, he was able to jungle and rise up. He's going to get himself like a 13-minute mech, which is not that bad considering the fact that he was facing one of the most nukish trialing possible.
For sure, and by staying top like that, like you might think, oh, Darkseer farms faster in jungle. Why don't teams just put him there all the time? What it does is it makes the supports have to waste their time. Their supports can't just be freely polling, freely doing whatever they want. They can't just push the lane up towards the tower, get some easy damage on it without having to like sacrifice support time or anything like that. So starting at top, and it makes it harder to gank your mid because you sort of have a better idea where they are. Maybe not the best idea, but you do have some better idea.
Yeah, and very kind of in a completely opposite fashion. It seems like LGD support has been able to do whatever they want. Clockwork not really being able to zone the support out as easily or at all. And the rotation from Earthshaker and Shadow Shaman were able to set up kills or prevent kills all over the map. They have used 2 smokes as a result, but hey, they're very highly level. You can see that Shaker parking in the mid lane trying to find some EXP, trying to find that level 6, and Shadow Shaman doing the exact same thing in his own jungle. Once you get 6 here on your Shadow Shaman, you guys Dignitas play Shadow Shaman. What do you do with this hero? Do you just go straight push, or do you go to force some team fights?
When our Shadow Shaman hits 6, I think that the best thing you do is you get 5 heroes, and you barrel down the short lane tower, especially versus Phantom Lancer. Having that tier 1 tower down when your tier 1 top is still up just makes his jungle so accessible, and it shuts down his farm just by merit of the fact that you can, like, he's scared. You're not doing anything. You don't even have to be there. He can't farm as fast. He can't push it up all the way to the tower anymore. He can like push it up to maybe where the tier 1 was before.
And so then you just have to back off because he doesn't know if TP.
And this is the infamous Lone Druid smoke gank.
You call it an infamous smoke gank from Lomjir because he shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be making this gank, and it looks like they're gonna be running into a Keeper of Light. Keeper of Light does know.
I mean, the idea was that he gets mid fast and they just push the tower. But it feels like I don't know how you run with the bear. He could
just teleport mid.
Yeah, he could just farm and teleport.
But X-Born and backline here actually going to get hit. The bolt's going to be there as well. EGM steals the bolt. That's a big one, but he's going to have a little bit difficult time landing this one.
Bolt is actually huge. Bolt means that they can try to defend this. Meg actually has his Blink Dagger. 13-minute Blink Dagger, very fast Blink. Blink into
RP Bolt.
Plus the Rubik nuke plus the Caudal nuke. He's not going to be up for this. There's a bear.
Well,
they do have Glyph.
They do have Glyph. The wards are down. The Glyph is going to be down for a couple seconds. Look how far back they're playing. They got to be very careful. Rocket's going to
triple RP.
Yeah, that was a triple RP. S4 not going for it. He's going to be surging forward. He's got to be very careful. S4 where he can't get X. The X comes in. Looks like there's a hook in the background. They're going to focus on S4 with Fisher Fisher. There's a vacuum on top. Skewer back with the bolt already missed. Coco Rum already applied though. Xiao gets mech'd up. That early mech doing so much work here. EGM. There's a blink RP. It only hits 2, I think. Yeah, it does hit 2. Echo Slam gets dropped as well. Not enough damage being applied. Xiao's gonna eat a lance. He's gonna barely survive. Another fissure. EGM's low. Anybody gonna clean him up? Nobody there to actually steal the deal.
Did you see Loda trying to block with his illusion after the lance? It is pretty cute. I mean, cute as in a good play, but you know, pretty cute.
Yeah, not enough to actually seal the deal.
And I felt like Meg just had to go there. If they want to defend that, you need to just go before the tower goes down when you can just RP that. If he had RP that, I feel like they could have taken the fight. Like RP, and then you start ping where you're going to skewer, you get the Caudal Blaster, you get the Rubik, Bolt ready, and you could definitely take that fight. Bolt does a ridiculous amount of damage.
300 damage, yep.
Yeah, the good thing is that they still have Bolt, just because its cooldown's so short, and it's already up again, ready to go for both teams.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, without the RP setup, they really lack the damage.
That is very true, but one good thing is that Rubik doing a solo gank is it's a lot easier to hit a boat with Rubik than it is with Kunkka.
Right, because you telekinesis, lift, toss them where
you can toss them into your boat.
Yeah, so
I mean, so that's sort of one nice thing for them about the boat, but I doubt that Rubik will go solo ganking at this point. Maybe if Clockwork is able to find a hook here on mid.
Well, I mean, we saw the Clockwork Hook trying to be used in the last team fight. I really didn't see whether he landed or I saw the cogs pushing him.
He solo cooked the Rasa and killed him, which is actually a really good play. It was all the way to the side, on top of the ramp almost over here. And he could just find that kill, but
well, Clockwork Hook did find Admiral Bulldog, and the boat will get tossed out. Xiao will let one of his own boat fly. He's gonna just use it for basically the Coco Rum. Blink Skewer into the fissure now, and I do believe Xiao will survive as a result. Another spell being stolen was at the fissure. Fissure's probably one of the best spells to steal. He throws it out. Oh, vacuum into Shock. Admiral Bulldog's gonna get picked up. Shockwave's gonna hit on 2, but well, the damage has been done. Tier 1 has been defended.
Look how tanky that Kunkka. Funny thing is, the Rum was wearing off, and the melee creep had the animation swinging at him, but the melee creep switched to target at the last second. So that would have been pretty hilarious if he died to a melee creep, I think. But do you see? They used all their spells on Kunkka,
and he didn't die.
Yeah, like 50% damage reduction makes his EHP 3,000 at 16 minutes.
Don't forget about the magical
plus armor plus magic resistance.
Yep.
In terms of EHP, this Kunkka is. And a magic wand, like, I don't know, they can't bring him down if the bolt goes off before you burst him down. They basically need to burst him down before bolt goes off, which is
almost
really
impossible, because he's sitting at, what, 1400 HP with the Ogre Club. I mean, he's going straight Ogre Club into, I imagine, a BKB, or if you want to go just for the raw kind of value Ogre Club, why the hell not go back for your drums if you want for a little bit early game damage.
And not to mention that they have an Earthshaker. That basically means you're never going to burst someone down by using all your spells, just because Earthshaker can always interrupt your combo.
So, I mean, it seems like you're loving this draft in terms of how they kind of complement each other.
I really do like this draft.
They have early game aggression. They've been smoking nonstop though, so watch out for the lungs. It's not good, definitely. But they have been definitely getting a ton of results. 2 towers dropped on the bot lane. 2 towers drop on the mid lane. They're looking for a gank right now. If you get like an easy pickoff, for example, on a Magnus, can you just go straight high ground with your wards and your bear?
I mean, you potentially could. I feel like it's a lot safer to just take that tier 2 top and then take Roshan. You're not really on a timer against PO until he gets drums, Fuse, or heart, and then another item, and X
Torn Balls. Looking at the animation, where the hell is the X coming from? But looks like a little bit of visual bug. They did X after or before he blinked. And normally S4 survives against any other gank party, right? Smoke or not. But against a fissure and a long cast range of Xiao X, that's a free kill. Yeah, he's actually leveling X over Torrent, which I believe is absolutely smart. Yeah, it's not the damage really output, it's about the initiation range.
Yeah, and Usually with Meg, you're like, hey, I have a Blink Dagger, a Skewer. They go on me, I'm 3,000 range away in the blink of an eye. But with X, it doesn't matter. You're coming right back here, and it's going to hurt.
I think they could just rotate up top if they want to do so right now and go for a tier 2 tower. Or it seems like they might be pressuring a mid lane a little bit. Gonna quickly check out how PL's been doing. I mean, Loda's been free farming the entire game. He's got a Diffusal Blade number 2. He's got himself a Drums. I think at lunch we were talking about what you believe was the correct item choice for PL.
I think he should have got a Yasha here.
Just for extra farm?
He's not going to fight till his Manta Star at least. And in this case, he actually has to go Heart, which I also don't like. I would have preferred that he could get that Manta Star just because he needs to be able to split push harder. Sure, Heart might let you fight, but I feel like even with a Heart, the team fight's not going to look good for Alliance. They need to just split push it out, let PL get Heart plus Manta, and then they can take a good fight.
Well, I mean, if you look at LG's lineup, they're predominantly magical damage. Like, all your physical damage is really coming from the Lone Druid. For example, if you had a Heart on your PL, can he just tank most of it and still kind of be a big nuisance in the team fight? Or is it more like, sure, he could tank a lot of damage, he won't be able to farm kind of to secure the late game quick enough, and he really can't hold the team fight. You could tank all the damage, but if your teammates are dead, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to be able to kill them quick enough.
I feel like he wouldn't do as much as people that go Heart really fast on PL seem to think in the team fight. And look at Alliance's lineup. They're not pushing into that lineup anytime soon. They have Mei, Caudle, Rubik, Clockwork. Those 4 heroes are really good at defending.
Well, then that sounds like it's actually just fine here for Alliance, right? They could just hold.
Yep. But, I mean, this comes back to the main criticism of PL didn't go for the super fast farming build. He went for more of a fighting build. So that's one thing that I don't like. I mean, one thing that does help him is that he has a Caudle who is basically acting like he has boots of travel. Caudle has been running around, TPing him to farm.
Into the lanes, yeah.
One more thing is, I really hate the fact that he didn't max Doppelwalk. There's been 0 well, actually, at the top tower, I think he had like 7 illusions. But actually, it looked like 6. I'm not too sure. I can't count that fast. But getting that extra point in Juxtapose didn't do anything for him in terms of farm, in terms of pushing, or anything like that. And having a max Doppelwalk is just good for farming. Yeah,
without your level 16 ultimate and a ton of attack speed items like Yasha, you're generally not going to proc all your 8 Juxtapose illusions. Yep. Whereas having Doppelwalk to create illusions, or more importantly, walk between camps and camps, you actually increase your farm rate quite a bit. So Loda perhaps missing a little bit of value here and there, but in any case, him and his team has been doing a pretty decent job in terms of split pushing. For the past, I want to say 5 minutes or so, there hasn't really been any kind of big push coming out from LGD. Part of it was Keeper relocating all of the map. Part of it's because there's not many towers left. Loda looks like he wants to actually fight here, and he's got to be very careful. Oh, no, they back off.
I feel like he could have vacuumed that into Earthshaker's Sun, and they would have killed him if the Rasa had the sentry. However, the Earthshaker had the sentry, meaning that even if they vacuum fissured that, they would have been too far away to see him. So I think that, like, when you're against a carry who goes invis, you should have both your supports with a detection and one of your solo players. So I think that's a little bit of a mistake by LGD here, and they're going to defend the spot tower.
Yeah, they're at least trying to maybe go for a tier 2 push up top and then defend it. I mean, easily they could drop a ward and then defend it up bot. It's going to be PL solo pushing here, and Kunkka should be able to at least slow down or weaken the Squeak Wave. Here comes Loda. He could just sick those illusions. In fact, they will draw Lance on Xiaowei. This tower might actually just end up getting denied though.
It's looking that way. I mean, PL illusions are going in for it, but...
Oh, Major vacuum. Somebody gets denied. They are going to wait for that siege unit hit. They do get denied. Loda's, again, in the background, drops the Lance, comes back out. He's actually being very annoying. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane, a little bit more pressure being placed out here by EGM, but again, repelled. This is what I noticed about LGD, is that they're really big on defending these tier 1 towers.
And they managed to not... Alliance managed to defend that tier 2 just by split pushing. And again, PL still hasn't fought yet. I feel with a Yasha, he would... he is actually going for a Yasha before he finishes his heart. So I do like that, but I would prefer it before the Diffusal Blade. He hasn't used any charges anyways. He's upgraded to Diffusal. Sure, it does a lot of damage when you're hitting them, but I think the only hits Loda's under heroes is on that Kunkka at bottom.
So for LGD fans out there, even though they had themselves a very big start, about 7,500 gold lead, you see that gold lead is actually dipping for the last couple of minutes, because right now you're playing PL Caudle's game. You're not really pushing base, and it's hard to do so against Illuminate and Blinding Light. You're just walking all over the map, defending against PL pushes, which PL sure says you could defend against all my push all you want. I'm going to be farming every creep wave. I'm going to be farming every jungle, and it's hard for any single hero to keep up in terms of farm. You can see Loda just as Illusion got destroyed up top, he's already farming Ancient on the bot. How do you keep up with this hero and farm, and what do you do against this when you're in LGD situation?
I mean, they really need to be pressuring a bit more efficiently. I would have liked to see a Boots of Travel on one hero, like the Darkseer. That would have sort of let them... They have Darkseer bottom defending, and they have all 4 barreling down top. And then once all the tier 2 towers down, you can sort of get a lockdown on the enemy's farm. PL will only get farm from the lanes, and sure, PL might be farming quite fast still. He'll be farming 2 or 3 lanes worth of creeps, but his allies won't get anything. And PL, sure, he's good late game, but he's not good enough to 5v1 at this level.
PL maybe perhaps in a little bit of trouble. They will find S4. S4 perhaps it's okay though. No, he's actually going to run back and forth. The smoke should be breaking very soon. X, one of the longest caster, he's going to get seen. He immediately blinks, and I don't think there will be any magical torrent. That Smoke of Deceit wasted a ton of time. 5 heroes on that smoke, not finding a single target. Meanwhile, again, you got to just go back and push out every single lane. I felt like LGD in that one smoke gank that they just failed, they lost quite a bit. In fact, no, it's going to be Blink from DD. They're going to be focusing on EGM. Torrent, Fissure, they will all hit on EGM. Getting a support kill on Rubik, does that mean anything?
I mean, it is still a kill. It still frees up a bit of the map.
But here comes Loaded on top.
Yeah, he's pushing top. They need to basically choose, make a decision. They either go for this or... Oh, there's an excellent Omeg.
Yeah,
this might actually be
focusing
huge.
on Magnus, Torrent, and the boat won't hit. No, he's skewered backwards here. So S4 is going to survive. The boat will be coming off cooldown in a couple seconds. The ward gets dropped here. Is S4 going to jump? No, the blink is on CD. A Hex goes on. They kind of delay him. The Illuminate is going to be clearing the creeps. Unfortunately, it won't be clearing these wards. The Bear is now working on the tower. I feel like the Dire team would hold against this push quite easily.
I feel like if Loaded didn't TP back, Alliance would basically be winning this game.
For example, if he's still pushing up,
they have to back up so far before they can TP, because there's a Clockwork, there's a Meg RP, and I think that if Loaded had stayed top, they would have gone Rax.
Or at least tier 3 at the very least.
Yeah, tier 3 at the very least, and I still feel Rax just because there's so much TP interrupt. If a couple heroes from LGD get their TP interrupted after, like, Shadow Shaman has dropped wards, he's used Hex, he's used Aethershock, he used Shackle, and another spell to kill the Rubik, like, their heroes aren't even full mana and HP, so Loaded could possibly get a kill and the tower, or to kill and Rax, or I mean tower and Rax, something like that. He could have done a bit more than just TPing back right then.
Yeah, also for me, Xiaoe missed a rare X-Torn combo.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, if they got the X-Torn and Bolt before the skewer actually happened, and of course they have the long-range follow-up spells of the Fissure, the Blink Dagger, and Shadow Shaman, S4 was dead. Yeah,
he would have been dead, and sure, he had buyback, but then that looked really good for them now that the Meg had to use his buyback.
Well, unfortunately, looks
actually,
like,
I don't even know if he had buyback then.
Yeah, I'm not too sure whether he did. In fact, like, he was actually farming quite a bit just now. Now he does have buyback. And again, if you're back to LGD, what do you do? I think they've been out of smoke. Quick smoke check here on the shop. Yeah, they've been out of smoke for quite a while now, so you can't really go for any kind of free pickoffs. You do have the initiation range, but you have to split push. Now tier 2 has been down on the top. It's very easy for PL to suddenly get undetected and just go for free racks again. The damage output is here now. Loda could easily clean racks if nobody defends.
And LGD, their timer's sort of expiring here. Once Meg gets a BKB, it's going to be very hard to take just a base push. Because before you could just X, torrent him, etc. But now he has that BKB. You might not be able to get that combo off on him, even if you catch him out of
Well,
position.
if you lead with a Fissure and a torrent and basically chain it into a boat, it's possible, but it's so hard to actually do it. It's almost improbable.
It's even more like your torrent needs to be good while your Earthshaker is casting Fissure for that to chain.
Right, and that's tough.
It is really hard. And then even then, like, it basically has to be you have to cast Bolt, he Fissures, you torrent, and then all 3 will hit. Right. Because Bolt takes longer than the torrent is able to hit. So I don't know about, like, that is a possibility. And LGD, if there's a team that can pull that off, it's certainly in LGD's possibility. But again, Loda's just going to continue to split push with illusions. He can just continue to spam Doppelwalk. He has 4k gold. I think he should finish his mata here, not the heart, but he might actually go for the heart so he can team fight here. We'll see. I feel like, I don't know, Manta style, like, again, if he had a Manta style and he stayed top, then for sure that tower and Rax were pretty much forfeit as long as his team could cancel a couple of TPs. But since he went to Diffusal Blade, he doesn't actually do that much damage to the tower compared to having the Manta ready, which he would have had because he would have had more farm.
Yeah, I mean, again, for the past, I want to say 10-15 minutes now, LGD hasn't really done much, it seems like, because they're just trading farm back and forth. I do apologize for that our animations have been a little bit delayed. We are in a Chinese server, so things a little bit are cranky, at least on my PC. I'm not sure if you've been getting a little bit of delay animation over here.
And it's really weird. I feel like the Chinese aren't like forcing the issue enough against the PL. Like this, like I've talked about a timer a couple times, and that's just because PL, as long as you hit him before he gets a lot of items, it's fine if he has like one big item. You need to hit him in between his first and second big item, and at least take a Rax or something like that in order to really have a dominating control over the game. I mean, it's not over for LGD yet. They do have quite good late game. They have the Rasta for jumps, they have the Earthshaker AoE to lock down the illusions, so that Earthshaker can basically solo defend against a well, not really solo defend against a PL, but he can lock down the illusions at least.
X is gonna be, or Xiaoi's gonna be running in, but you can see that S4, he's somehow found himself an Invis rune. This is gonna be absolutely huge. Sentry gets dropped down here. The bow is gonna hit on, no, not gonna hit on S4. BKB gets pop here, and looks like they're gonna pick himself an EGM kill. No, he somehow goes and mechs up. He has found himself a Torn. Tier 3 in a little bit trouble because
Sylar's in a bad spot.
Yeah, Sylar needs to get out of there. He gets torned by EGM. Also, a kind of a friendly torn from Kunkka, and S4 is coming back out. Have he used his RP just yet? Yes, he has. DDC is gonna drop his fissure. It looks like he has Blink and he should be able to make it out there as well. Everybody retreat here for LGD. They have defeated or destroyed a tier 3 tower. They have got themselves up on a tier 3 Rax. Damage up. Is that enough for a big push? They haven't lost any structure. It seems like a pretty decent push coming out from LGD.
It was very decent, but Longju should have died. I mean, Lotus didn't use his diffuse at all that fight. And he has 5k gold. If he had just bought items and used his items, they definitely would have killed him. But on the other hand, I think they actually could try to go for Roshan here. LGD is very low.
Yeah, low in HP, low in...
and Loda has his heart now.
Well, they're going to be walking right in here for the Roshan. They definitely could tank it very easily. Damage is right there because with the power, and LGD has to come in. Xiaowei could easily check with the Torrent. Unfortunately, he used it on the mid wave. You got to be very careful about S4 as well. They know S4 is jungling in this camp. But here's the thing, you're not going to kill him. He's got BKB and Blink and Skewer. Xiaowei walks in, checking things out a little bit. Roshan's going to be thwarted at them. I think if you're Dire, you're okay drawing this game out because you have PL going to be rising over the map with Relocate. Also, you have Rockets coming up from the Clockwork to push out top, for example, right now. And eventually, you force LG to go back to defend.
I mean, LGD's team is definitely a team that can fight late game, but I feel that they do need a farm advantage over the PL in order to do so. And all these towers at this point, I feel like they're almost forfeit to just a PL, as long as he does his split pushing properly. If he just split pushes properly, it's very easy for just illusions to get outside of base towers.
Here, walking right back in, and Xiaowei getting the high ground position as well. It's very easy for Xiaowei to walk in because he has the access of the BKB, but these illusions are starting to become an issue. You can see that Xiaowei just lost basically half his health walking in.
I sort of had to criticize the Longju's item choices. He got the Basher before he got the AC, and I thought that was a bit weird. They're trying to break a base against a PL. Why would you not? Like, you should get the AC first. And, oh, Blink hit.
Blink Skewer here for Sylar. Sylar in huge trouble. The Echo's gonna hit, but the bow will follow through. DDC's low. Worst of RP. RP has not been used just yet. Xiaowei in the middle. They're gonna be focusing on the Rax, but unfortunately, Rasa has died before dropping the ward. That's a really, really big loss of the damage. Looks like somebody's gonna get X back. S4's looking for a kill. Where's the bear? Everybody's is just on the run. The PL illusions are cleanly housed right now. Sylar's low. He's gonna be focusing on S4. Nice through here against S4. He's gonna get the kill and TP out.
Wow.
Nice play here. The bear hasn't been destroyed. No.
Sylar.
Yao is on the run. He should be okay as well. He's gonna TP out. But again, they haven't done any structural damage. They haven't killed S4, or they haven't killed the PL enough. And now they have to be dealing against a possibility of a Roshan steal. Loda very low in terms of mana. Is he gonna go for Rosh? Oh my goodness, what a lucky pickup.
Yeah, and well, the thing is there, if Sylar didn't get out, I almost feel like Alliance just won the game there. But they maintain that gem, they keep Sylar up, and they still have 2 bears, which is very nice for this next engagement. I also want to criticize one thing, that he didn't buy phase boots on his bear. 900 gold for 24 move speed. Sorry, 24 damage.
Which applies for demolish.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage compared to, I think it's like the most efficient item in terms of just pure damage that he can get, other than Wraith Bear, but
I mean, phase is, you know, the phase ability is not bad.
Yeah, and the phase is really good because his bear gets slowed. Like, he'll get slowed by something, like a lance, meg, skewer, anything, and just being able to go through creeps might net you 1 extra attack, which is a lot of additional damage.
Well, Sylar switching a little bit back and forth for a little bit of extra HP healing. They're going to be going here for the high ground, and look at, again, the annoyance of Illuminate, of Blinding Light, of Rockets. But again, the big thing for me the last fight was the Blink Skewer from Magnus. We've been talking about how S4 is really good on this hero. He was able to skewer Rasa in before he dropped the ward. If Rasa drops the ward, the Rax is dead. There is no glyph available. The delay tactics is coming out from Alliance, but I think LG perhaps in this one, if everything goes according to plan, they should be able to get a Rax. My ice is on you, S4. You gotta land some spectacular Skewer and RP. Everything is up right now. And looks like the bear is going to the high ground. Blink. Oh no! The Rex, he pops up BKB. Where's the RP? RP has already been skewered down. They do not kill Silo. They did kill, I think that was Kunka. Everything's back, and have they destroyed the? That everything happened so quickly, and the animation here is again.
This is looking very good for Alliance right now. They've managed to stall it out, and LGD, I expect them to play this a bit more, I guess, Chinese. Like, take the tier 2 and farm up a lot of items before going into the base. They didn't really need to press the issue against the PL as long as they could have a lot more farm than them. Like, if they're out farming, if they had Kunka with a lot of items, Silver with a lot of items, Rasa with a blink, ES with a blink, and maybe a blue stick on Dark Tooth, they could definitely take team fights even in the ultra late game. Like, it just seems weird to me that they would just continuously ram against this without even taking the top and locking down on the PL, without trying to take Roshan first, any of this stuff that could have maybe helped them push.
Loda, it's not a Manta upgrade, it's not a butterfly, it's a Breach of Travel buy. I think this is actually very smart. Unfortunately, he's gonna get initiated, he's gonna send all the illusions on DD, and that will debuff that Shaco immediately, because I don't think DD could stay and take 3D illusions to the face. So very nicely played. That's going to force multiple TBs. And obviously, in between Butcher Travel and Relocate, now he could be anywhere. I think right now the LG is dealing with a nightmare, and they just want to wake up from it. Unfortunately, this could be a very long drag out game.
It's so weird how the first team to get the Butcher Travel is the one who's going to be split pushing, rather than one that has to deal with it. I still feel like that Butcher Travel pickup on Darkseer or anything really, or on anyone really, would have been of great help. And well, actually, I guess Darkseer is the only one who can really get it here. And Darkseer is actually incredibly underfarmed right now. He has 94 CS in a 34-minute game, and that's just because they're trying to continually barrel down mid. If they just farmed it out, he could have a lot of items. Phantom Lancer, sure, he's really dumb to play against late game. That's what I should say. But he's not necessarily like a auto win, even if you get super late.
Well, I mean, right now it's looking like it's almost an auto win, because we're in a stage of the game where LG tries to push multiple times. They even got the blink on from both, I think, Shadow Shaman as well as Earthshaker, but they weren't able to deal enough damage, or at least quickly enough to drop their
That last fight was also a bit weird. Like, Shadow Shaman blinked them just to place wards, and the Shao just stood beside him while he was blinking, like after he blinked in, was running back. So Meg was able to get a 2-man RP, and they were just able to blow those two heroes up.
S4 pushing on the bot lane as well. So in a position right now where you're LGD, do you just go for the ultra late game and farm up and try to beat PL in his own game? Or do you keep trying mid? Because it seems like these options have not been too favorable.
I mean, the thing is, Alliance has now surpassed them in terms of gold just because they spent so much time 5-manning. So I don't even know if they have the option of doing that right now. They might have to actually just rely on trying to get a very good team fight here.
Well, we'll be seeing. Spear has picked himself a Demon Edge, so I believe that's going to be MKB. Looks like Loda's going to get links back or relocate back to another portion of the map. Roshan has been attempted multiple times. The previous time it was attempted, Kunka was forced to buy out. So you got to keep in mind that some of these gold that LG is farming, it's not really going towards items. In fact, if you look at Xiao A, he's going for a Shadow Blade. Like, we're 36 minutes in. I feel like he needs to be going for a bigger item.
Did Kodo just smoke PL so he could get to lane to farm faster?
I mean, is this a bait? No, looks like Loda's gonna TP up top.
But
well, he's actually running quite quick. Like, he's almost max movement speed because of Breach of Travel and that smoke. And looks like he's, again, looking to threaten the high ground. If LG don't TP back, they lose racks.
I don't know why he hasn't bought Manta yet. He has a gold for buyback if he still has it. Maybe he doesn't quite know the amount of gold and everything that you lose, but I think is it 30 per level, 40 per level? I haven't even checked that in a while.
I believe it's 25 per level.
It's 25 per level?
Unless I'm mistaken on that.
Well,
in any case, I mean, Loda is just being a big
he
on
has,
the high ground.
Regardless, he has enough reliable gold that he would have buyback anyway, so he definitely should have bought his Manta. If he had a Manta there, that tower would also be dead. So, I really don't like the fact that he's 37 minutes in the game with basically free farm the entire game, and I feel like if he had played it a bit better, he would have been 6 slotted by now.
Well, here's the thing though, I mean, you've been not really happy with Loda's item choices and perhaps decision making, and I'm gonna agree with you for the most part. What about now? The fact that the score's 8-8, the fact that they're really leading in terms of experience and goal, and they're gonna get Aegis on Roshan, because I don't see the Radiant challenging them. I say that though, the damage is actually lacking. The Radiant's making a small movement towards Roshan. I don't think they will make it in time. Yeah, in fact, Loda is gonna get the Aegis. I just don't think that you could actually push this in the next 6 minutes.
I really don't. I think that they're going to take those 2 tier 2s on the Radiant side to just win the game off there. Loda, I mean, he's been farming decently, but I feel like he could have been farming a bit faster. And one more thing is, I think he had Tranko boots, and he bought a full boots of travel. So he lost a bit of gold there, since you can disassemble the Tranko boots, get normal boots, upgrade to boots of travel that way.
Oh, he just sold the whole thing?
Yeah, he just sold the entire thing.
Okay.
And, well, he had both in his inventory at one point. And I feel like one thing I do really like about his play is that boots of travel pickup was really good for them.
It was really smart. I mean, nobody expect a boots of travel into a creep wave right outside tier 3. Yeah, you're not trying to basically base race or anything.
And he can just split push so well with that. He can be on both sides of the map, and then Kato can recall him somewhere else.
Yep, and we've been seeing that more than I actually like right now, because this game has not actually moved anywhere for the past couple of minutes. And if you're cheering for Alliance, which, by the way, Blitz has been, he's just waving very happily whenever whenever Alliance gets a successful defense. So it's the fact that, I mean, the longer this game goes, it favors more and more Alliance, right?
But correct me if I'm wrong, but if Alliance win this, are they guaranteed top 1 in their group? If they beat LGD,
yeah, there will be no other
they
team
get
that
first
goes
in the
4
group,
and 1.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
the same applies to LGD.
Yeah, I mean, even if LGD loses this, they can still be 4-1. But I think, I'm not too sure how the tiebreaker works, but normally in this would be the head-to-head.
Yes.
So they would have first place.
Right,
yeah,
and that means whoever wins this game will guarantee themselves the top seed.
Yeah. So maybe that's why they're playing so safe, but man.
Well, I think at this situation of game, LGD, Xiao needs to be going for big crits. Like, Daedalus.
And there's a pickoff on bottom of the Rasta here. Hooks in into double nuke by Meg. Really good skewer there. He skewered him so that just the end of the skewer hit him, so it didn't really move him that much. And he actually pushed him to the Cog. So we had like 4 nukes by Clockwork and 2 nukes by Meg, and they were just able to blow up that Rasta, which is actually quite good of a pickoff.
Well, as expected, like you said, with the Aegis, going to take both tier 2s. Tier 2 mid's going to get forfeited as well. It's one thing to take these tier 2s, but it's another thing to go high ground against a very kind of constituted Chinese team. If you don't get out of position, of course, S4 will be constantly looking for these blink seers. These illusions will slowly chip away the tier 3 towers like Loda sending in. This is one of the longest siege that we will probably witness if the LGD team will play correctly. They have to look for a pickoff, but I just don't think that anybody will get picked off. Rubik now adds Blink Dagger to his inventory, and it's just so hard to actually find any type of pickoff. X used to be good a couple of minutes ago, but now the key heroes that you want to kill have already too much HP or a BKB.
Yeah. And Lotus actually has enough money for his butterfly whenever he wants to buy that. I think he's playing it super safe, saving for that buyback, but I almost feel like at this point he's sort of unkillable as long as he doesn't just like YOLO it and run in. Yeah. So, well, and even then he has Aegis.
I really like the decision here from Alliance to push from multiple lanes and get some chip damage going on. The Butcher Travel and Relocate still being a very big factor, even if you're pushing from all 3 lanes. Or in fact, because you're pushing from all 3 lanes.
Yeah, and being able to have PL illusions on 2 lanes makes it really hard to defend. And they can have it on 3 lanes with that recall too. And like, you need the bear to basically defend one of those lanes. You need Kunkka to defend the other. And then you have a Rasta, Earthshaker, Darkseid, the other one, defending against 4 Alliance heroes. They're not really going to pick anyone off. They're split pushing very safely, which is very correct. I would like to see Loda actually just pop his Manta here, lance a creep, and get a lot of illusions, and he does exactly that. He's gonna get 4, 5, 6 illusions, and he's gonna just be able to beat on a tower. He'll get 300 damage on it, and they're not actually all top, so he's gonna get like 700 on this.
Yeah, they're gonna be
or
pushing.
More.
Yeah,
Holy
pushing
crap.
the bot tower already, and now pushing up the top racks. Somebody's gotta defend the top racks. Shaker dropped the fissure, but that doesn't do a single thing. These Manta and of course juxtaposed illusions, it's gonna break it. Ether Shark's gonna come in as well. These supports good, really long, early in the game. Not really good at this stage in the game anymore. It's very easy for Alliance to make a jump anytime they want.
Look at that bear tickling Loda.
Clockwork Hook's gonna come in right now against Yao. Yao in big trouble right now. He's trapping those cogs, the skewers, and he's gonna get picked off. Kunkka's gonna TP in, he's gonna get lifted. And where's the RP? RP's gonna hit on 2, and this could be the beginning of the end. The ward gets dropped out, but they only tickle the hero at this point. The bolt gets dropped a little bit too slow. Vacuum's gonna hit on ability, and the wall is a big whip. Admiral Bulldog's gonna get focused, but they only got himself a call. Look at everybody has fought back, but nobody cares. Loda's low, he's gonna die, he's gonna have Aegis respawn. You gotta pick him up right now before he groups up to his allies. Where's the Hex? They torn, the Hex is gonna follow through. He will have buyback and teleport back as well. DDC TP's in. Skewer outwards, does break all the TP. Loda trap on the other side of Fissure. Now we'll be working on the racks. Vacuum backward towards the war. S4 reward trap into a vacuum. What a play. Loda's low. Loda's gonna get picked up as well. The racks will get held because of the glyphs. Somebody, for the love of God, kill the siege unit. It's low. One more hit away. It does hold. Loda does have buyback though. 7k go, 8k go in the back. Anybody gonna suicide YOLO for this Rex? Nobody. The Chinese just held against Aegis, 2PL Live, BKB Magnus, Blink Skier. I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
I have no idea either. I feel
what
like
the fuck was going on, guys?
I feel like they could just A-click the racks.
Yeah, but they weren't A-clicking the racks.
Use Lance, stop walk, match illusion to all zone out LGD. But I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter. LGD only defended that because they used buybacks. 3
buybacks? 4 buybacks?
Yeah, they use
a ton of buybacks.
Basically all their buybacks there.
Xiao he's surging
the
himself
buybacks on all the heroes that matter. So I mean, LGD's like, oh hey, let's go mid. Maybe he bought a butterfly. He doesn't have buyback, but nope.
Nope.
And now he has a butterfly. Oh, I feel like he should have been prepared with the Eagle Song just so he could get a butterfly right away here too. But he just goes top and there's nothing that LGD can do.
Well, they see him to TP. You have to send at least 3 or 4 people here right now or you're losing that melee Rax.
That Rax is just dead. They can't even get back to defend that.
Oh my god. They need things
as
like
long as
Fissure.
Lotus spreads out his PLs here, like if he spreads them into a line, then they're just all dead.
Vacuum, please. Ether Shock, Torn, even bolt that thing.
Loda, spread your illusions. Spread.
Spread them in
Pretender
multiple
Marines.
Man. Well, they did hold that Rax. And here's a problem here from LGD. I mean, I don't think they will ever make it past a river at this point, unless they push with 5, because just as quickly you destroy those creep wave and PL illusions, another big wave will be pushing in. Look at mid. 5, 6 illusions being created. Those will barrel down the mid lane eventually. Okay. Well, let's actually bring it back. It's gonna be...
Loda gave his computer cancer.
It's giving us cancer as well. AI, how do you feel about this game? You're not happy about how Loda's playing, perhaps kind of dragging out this game because of his very safe and passive play.
The thing is, it's not the safe and passive play I'm concerned about. It's the fact that I feel like Loda could be farming a lot faster based on his decision-making item choices. I mean, it's hard to say that as with the full map shown to me, but in some of those situations, he actually had full vision on the enemy team, and he could have made those choices. Regardless, it looks like they're winning this game, so criticism when you're winning is sort of not that important.
Well, I mean, is there any shot for LG to come back? They just had one of the most spectacular hold.
They actually forced Loda to buy out. That was very smart. They ran down mid just so Loda
forced a buyout and back up.
I would have preferred that Loda actually bought out when they're already overcommitted on the racks, because again, you have that clockwork to hook in, you have the mag to blink in, and then you could get a really favorable fight where they can't back off from. Loda would have been able to come in, just completely clean them up, but instead he just bought out. Like, they weren't anywhere close to his base and he just bought out. So again, a bit of a questionable decision here, but he's still in a really good position.
Well, we're going to be back in the game. Loda has finally reconnected. I'm not sure whether that will fix the graphical issue that's been plaguing my computer, but you were looking for an item on Yao. Yao's going to be going for a Scythe of Ice. I mean, he's been buying himself out, so there's no point of save goal, at least for the next couple of more minutes. Xiao hasn't had too much of anything. That's a broadsword. That should be a making of a Crystallis. So crits will be coming very soon. Shaker, Force Half, I imagine, what's being attempted on him. DD, nothing really on him. And of course, Lone Druid, kind of the heaviest carry hero on the Radiant side. Items have not been really coming because he's been buying out as well.
Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely the fact that they overcommitted into just barreling down mid and they didn't get anything for it. The weird thing I find is that mid isn't even really the lane you want to take versus PL. You want to take a side lane, because side lanes are they're easier to break base on, just because the ramp is usually a bit of a better setup into the base, and you have a lot more room to maneuver. And even if you take mid, the split pushes are going to come on both sides, so you want one of your sides to be really strong rather than mid and one side where they're really close together and you can split push both with PL. You want it to be as far away as possible.
Well, we'll talk about those side and mid lane differences in a bit, because right now Alliance is pushing in key factors. No buyback on the Radiant side, no glyph on the Radiant side. Easy path of initiation from Clockwork Rockets, as well as the hookshot, as well as Blink Skewer and Blink RP. It seems like all the odds are impossible. If the Dire team wants to stay back and rise and send PL Manta Illusions and Illusions in against the Rex, they can. This has to be a hope for the next 5 minutes. For LGD to even have buyback cooldown. Blink Skewer, that's gonna miss. No big deal. You miss a couple of skewers, it's okay, because you have all the time in the world. Those illusions, by the way, should not be chasing Darkseer. They should be going straight for the racks, like this one brave soldier is doing. There you go. There you go. Look at that solo Rax.
That was a really fast. Holy shit, he's killing the Rax.
He is really killing the Rax. The siege unit, gotta get somebody tend to that siege unit. Manta winning game, guys.
Kill the Rax. Don't hit the Darkseer.
Oh, Torrent.
Oh dear lord.
Where's the fissure? Hex was used, and the Rax is gonna survive with 7 HP.
Like, Just split your illusions, go from two sides so they can't get AoE'd, hit the racks. Racks dead 4 times now. That's like, oh.
Avi, it seems like you're personally invested this game because
I really, my team won't pick me PL, and I always see PLs and they never play it right. And it annoys me.
Clockwork Hook's gonna whiff. That's gonna have a little bit of cooldown here, about a full minute. And I guess the Radiant team has bought themselves a full minute of time, which is a big deal because Glyph is coming back in 45 seconds. Buyback, quick buyback check. Should become on relatively soon as well, but unfortunately they won't have to go. But again, it's so easy for Loda to just go for these racks. At what point does LG need to do a big... Blink Skewer. Looks like Hex is already... Shaker, did he blink away from the Skewer? It seems like he did, but he's going to get blown out. S4 is going to be walking. He's low, but he drops the RP. And now the focus. The Fisher's going to hit on everyone. The Ward's going to get dropped down. Bear's low. Bear's going to survive. Xiao A's going to be okay as well. But again, they use all their spells. There's really no commitment being really done by the Lions team. So they can back off and regroup again. LG's looking low. They have to back off. Cooldown boat on 22nd. They have lost Wards. They have lost the Earthshaker, who's going to be back in 30 seconds as well. Do you make a go right now? 10,
I mean,
15 seconds.
He can definitely just send those in those illusions to hit the racks. So I think that's what they'll opt to do.
If they don't get cleave, where's a cleave? Fissure's gonna hit, and the illusion's low. Clockwork Hook comes in as well. Where's the right click? No right click just yet. Where's the bow coming out? Bow should be coming off cooldown very soon. Xiao A does not have mana. The Lancer coming in. Just focus the racks. Finally, 47 minutes and 40 seconds. They got the first melee racks, and the game gets a lot easier for Alliance from this point on.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They get racks, they have a PO, they split push. They're in a good spot.
Aoi's not impressed.
Brilliant commentary anyway.
Thank you.
Yep.
I mean, I think PL Keeper games really brings out the best of all commentators because you have a lot of time to say whatever the fuck you want to say, and there's actually
Want to tell me a joke? Do you have any jokes?
Yeah, no, this is where you kind of tell me that gummy bear joke.
I have another joke.
All right, let's hear it.
What? Oh, perfect. I'll pause. Time for my joke.
All right,
okay,
here
guys.
we go.
Okay, guys. Why did the Scarecrow get invited to do a TED Talks?
What's a TED Talks?
It's like you're ruining my joke.
Okay. Why?
Because he was outstanding in his field. You don't get it.
I don't get it because I don't know what the fuck a TED Talks is.
Really?
So.
Oh, TED Talks are like these really cool, like, educational videos. They're meant sort of to inspire. I mean, they're not the best at providing solutions, but they sort of are good at identifying problems.
Oh,
TED
Talks.
Yeah,
yeah.
TED.
Okay. Ah!
I need water. LD, water. Thank you for laughing at my joke. Please reward me with water.
We need water, man. I'm sorry, guys. This game is hard.
So, I mean, the thing is, like, it's 50 minutes in, your Darkseer needs to have at least an Aghanim's or a Hex. Like, he should have one of those items. Darkseer's not a slow farming hero. So I feel like this is a bit of misplay on LGD. I feel like they missed their timing window. They thought that their timing window was a bit too early when they should have waited another 5 minutes, farmed up another item, and then gone for the push. If that happened, it would have been a lot easier to just barrel in, take that racks. But now Roshan's back up. They can't contest at all. PL's going to get another Aegis. Actually, I feel like they should put the Aegis on the Meg and PL buys the item. But they might just think that Loda can now go to fight. Oh, they do put on it. I like this. Speaking of the last item on PL, I actually don't like crit. I think that when you reach this point, crit, MKB, whatever, damage output isn't a problem. Maybe get MKB if their carries all Butterfly, that's not that bad. But I think that a Hex is better.
Hex?
I think that if you have a Hex, you can lock someone down and just all your illusions kill them. You don't need that.
You don't actually need the extra damage.
Yeah, like, damage output, never a problem with late game PL. Being able to hit someone because they all go scepter, they all have different stuff, is the problem. So Hex just lets you, basically, you Hex on, you lance them, they die. Because you get illusion. Oh,
Blink Echo on EGM, Blink Hex as well, Torrent Fissure, everything thrown on EGM, but it looks like we have an X as well. S4, Blink RP, that's gonna hit on Skewer, Skewer backward, and guess what? Lotus right there with power. Nice wall, nice vacuum, but will it be enough? Nice mech up here coming in from Ammo Bulldog. Ammo Bulldog being mauled down by that bear. Bear damage output, impressive. Do they hold that squash? Nobody has died. Only one person has died on the Radiant side. No buyback. Darks. Oh my god, what is going on, China? Please.
Well, I mean, at least we get to enjoy this.
Yourself, Lumi.
If there is a game to pause in because there's so much to talk to, it's definitely this one.
Yeah,
Talk about, like,
I mean,
it's easy because you see, like, what's gonna happen is PL's gonna use his illusions to attack the base,
Right.
and then they're gonna defend, and he's gonna use his illusions to attack the base again, and they're gonna defend. And it's gonna keep going on. See, and we can keep talking about it because it's
Right.
just an ongoing cycle.
What about after the defend?
Oh,
Do they keep attacking with PL illusions?
Um,
Or did they come back
sometimes,
and get Aegis
yeah.
and then come back?
yeah,
and
sometimes they go back and they kill this big Nashor guy in the middle of the map.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Well, it has been very insightful commentary. Thank you for Ali.
you're welcome for that.
This is also a very good time to talk about your week here. I mean, this is your first time to LA, big city, Los Angeles.
When I flew into LA,
Yeah.
we saw like, okay, so I'm flying in. I'm like, hey, wow, there's a city. Let's look at it. I'm like, oh, they're like sky rises or
Tall buildings.
Tall buildings. I'm like, whoa, there's a downtown core. Wow, that's a pretty big downtown core. This is pretty cool. And then we kept flying. I saw another downtown core, and I saw like 6 of them. I was like, whoa. And when I met, who came to pick me up was like Merlini, Blitz, and Purge. All I could say was like, LA is so big. And I was excited to go In-N-Out Burger too, because I went once when I was like in grade 6 or 7, and the memory stayed with me. Oh, they're going!
Oh wow, we're gonna see more buildings.
Oh,
being-
he dies.
Somebody actually died to
Something happened.
something happened, but
Okay,
you know what's
so-
really gonna happen is buildings being hit by PL. Looks like Xiaoi's gonna get focused. No, Glyph's gonna get forced out. Alliance is gonna back off. No, they're gonna keep on focusing. I don't believe they have enough right now. Xiaoi's low. Xiaoi's gonna
Xiaoi's
get land
bad.
stack. Either he buys back or the game is over. The game is over.
He buys back and the game's over.
And he, yeah, there's the other possibility. Torrent's gonna drop as well. I don't think the Chinese gonna be calling GG anytime soon, though. They will hold to the bitter end. I just don't see any momentum going back. This reminds me of the game 3 of the G League Finals, where LGD International was in a similar situation where they're trying to push in, or was it, or were they on the defending end? Oh, Xiaowei is gonna win walk
It
out.
seems
Is there a
like-
gem? There is a gem. Oh my God, Xiaowei.
Oh, and he has Torrent. That's a long-range initiation. Maybe they can use Torrent to make something happen in the base.
Any case, in that game where I think LGN was holding against the PL for the longest time, there were certain instances they were able to just defend against PL illusions. We're not approaching that stage yet. Like, we're actually very far away from that stage.
They're very underfarmed considering how well the game went for them early. You would need like Daedalus, not Breeza, Daedalus on the Kunkka at the very least, plus hopefully another damage item. You want like MKB, oh not MKB, but like Daedalus, maybe even 2 Daedaluses, so you have a higher chance of splashing a crit.
So
like-
we are about, you want to say 10,000 and go away from Xiaowei? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I mean, if he finishes his Daedalus, maybe, or like honestly at this point, I would get like Rapier on him. I don't really see anything else they can do.
I mean, he just doesn't have gold. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the biggest proponent of going YOLO rapiers, but there's nothing.
you're so lucky the Merlini police isn't here to chastise you for saying YOLO.
Well, the LD police is sitting next to me.
He's not as big as the Merlini police, so
That's true. The Merlini police actually don't do anything. He's the one that's like doing all the shots. Like
yeah. Merlini police needs policing.
the
Contact the Merlini police. Oh wait.
DDC is almost dying to illusions. By the way, you're saying that the last item don't need to be crits. He's getting crits. Xiaowei gonna get skewered back out. BP he's gonna be used. He's gonna crit himself or try himself to do some deep, but unfortunately he's gonna get wall, vacuum, backwards. I heard a hook, not sure exactly where it is. Bolt's gonna get flyouts. Well, they actually gonna focus on S4. S4 being brought down is a big deal. Unfortunately, will it brought down? Yeah, actually,
Yo.
Echo Slam is gonna bring him down. Unfortunately, Shaker is dead. Bulldog's doing some crazy sick aerodynamic moves on the background. Looks like he's
it
gonna make
was
it out
actually
as well.
really smart that PL never used his diffuser charges in the mid game to fight anything.
Now he has
because
all diffuser
he
charges
can
in the
use them to when he gets walled. He can diffuse the PL. I mean, actually, serious here. You can diffuse the PL illusion, and it's actually pretty good. Because LGD's chance of coming back is basically they get a wall on him. He sits there for like 10 seconds. The PL illusion gets really lucky with RNGG, and then they spawn 10 illusion on him and they kill him.
Did you say RNGG?
Yeah, that's what Merlin taught me.
That-
RNGG.
That's absolutely correct. It's
Yeah.
now the RNGG.
It's
because,
GG of RNG.
well, here we go. Another big push coming out. It's like almost you predicted. It's gonna be some defense, some PL illusions.
You see Kunkka, he just missed 3 hits on the illusion, so he couldn't even splash anything.
Oh, Blink
RP.
RP. Would that be the land? The skewer's not there. Where's it? Oh, there's a shackle
Where's the
there as well,
BKB?
but it doesn't matter because guess what? Loda's in your base, in your house.
He's in your base.
He's killing all your buildings. I don't even
That's
care
the
anymore.
GG.
Radiant's
Well, Xiaowei calls the GG to the RNGG. And Loda wins. I am so excited. Alright. Kurt, give them the summary about the part where they hit buildings and then come back and hit more buildings.
So LGD missed their timing window. They thought it was earlier than it was. They couldn't push in because they didn't have sufficient items. You need to see the phase boots on the bear so it does more damage to buildings, stuff like that. Should have gone AC instead of getting a basher. Kunkka needed to farm another item. Darkseid should have been way more farmed. Loda didn't split push properly, but he still won because he's PL end of the game.
So we saw some exciting buildings being struck by multiple dudes.
He has a cool lance. I think
He does have a cool lance. He has
You can buy that from the Dota store. If you
you-
like playing PL, I hate you. Actually, I love playing PL.
I think Aoi's having some identity crisis right
if
now.
this was a matchmaking game, you get more items since the game is longer.
That's true.
We don't get items.
We don't get items here, unfortunately. Well, I think we don't need to analyze anything.
Well, I mean, that's my rough analysis
Rough
of the
analysis,
game. Like,
yeah.
they missed a timing push. I think that Lone Druid should have got a Radiance after his armlet. Because before PL gets his heart or can spawn new illusions, the Radiance just slowly burns it down. The thing about PL illusions is that they take the same HP as the illusion they're created from or the PL they're created from. So if Radiance is slowly ticking them down they take 400% damage, so like 106. Actually, I don't. Okay, whatever. Plus 100 plus damage. They take damage. It slowly whittles them down, and they're not as effective when they're creating new ones. And not only that, but when you have low illusions in the fight, if you reach a cap, you can't create new illusions. Like the scary part is when you have 8 full HP
Illusions, and
if you have,
you kill one, a ton of them spawn.
Yeah, for sure. But if you have 10 HP illusions, they keep recreating 10 HP illusions, and you can like lock them down, slow them down, kill them, and Audi symboled something to me.
The game, there was no Radiance. I think that is the final analysis here. Let's pass it back to the analyst table where they are just completely enthralled with the game.
They left a lot for us.
100% they did.
I mean, I actually thought, despite the fact that was kind of a slow-paced game, 15 to 11 or 15 to 21, the final score, favoring the Alliance. I actually thought it was very cerebral and very interesting because you look at the Alliance after this win, they're guaranteed a #1 placement through the group stages. It's possible, I think, still for them to tie 4-1 with one of these other teams, either Orange or LGD, if those teams win out. But they already have the tiebreaker. At best, it's going to be a 1-1 or a 2-way tie, and then it goes to the head-to-head matchup. So the Alliance, congratulations, you are guaranteed a top 2 finish already at the G1 League LAN Finals, and they have a chance to sweep the group stage. So no matter what, they will be in your grand finals tomorrow. Now it's just down to find out who that other team sitting in second position is going to be, as well as seeing who gets knocked out. So great start for the Alliance, and they've finished strong so far. They only have one match to go, but let's break down this game a little bit more. I just feel like the Alliance, this really completes the circle for me. We saw everything from them so far this tournament. Their first match versus DK. Level 1 Roshan, Ursa, aggressive kind of snowball style of push. Their next match against Liquid. Anti-Mage, Prophet, split push, pretty defensive, trying to win by slowly whittling their opponents down. Their third game against Orange. They had the lucky courier snipe, but that was kind of your classic, iconic Alliance style where they get the S4 Mag, they get the Bulldog Prophet, they run the Ake Chen, the EGM Windrunner. It was so classic that even I could predict the heroes. The only one we missed was the Phantom Assassin. Then you look at how they beat LGD. Very defensive, turtle style, 4 protect 1. They have won almost every way against the world's best teams.
Yeah, against the first Eastern teams they played against, they always had something go right for them with Bulldog sniping the courier or the level 1 Rosh advantage. So I was a little worried, and the game against DK, even with the Rosh advantage, that game was pretty close. And so I was thinking to myself, okay, now they're going against a team like LGD, who, they're not going to make any of those mistakes, leaving the courier out into the middle of the lane and stuff like that. And they really proved themselves right there. They played a really slow style. They slowed the game down, and then from there on, Loda played really well, being able to split the map in half, and then S4. Man, those RPs, they were really on time. The Clockwork also, played by Admiral Bulldog, that guy's been playing phenomenally this entire tournament. The amount of boats stolen by EGM.
Yeah. Absolutely impressive defense. I guess the one thing I would add is I loved their draft because they looked at what LGD had and they said, these guys want to end the game pretty early. And especially once you see the Shadow Shaman pick, that's what's coming your way. They picked up a Clockwork, a Magnus, a Keeper of the Light, and a Phantom Lancer. If you're going to run a PL, that's like the perfect supporting cast to ensure that it's almost impossible to break the base. You have to fight your way through Cogs, through Blink Skewer backwards, through Lance spam, through Illuminate spam. And I didn't really feel like LGD misplayed too badly that game. Sure, I mean, AUI did mention some of their smaller mistakes, but for me, I just felt like it was the Alliance playing better more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. And something I'd also like to note, I love games with PL in them because they go super long and we get to see the full range of Lumi's English. That's actually like the most interesting thing about casts like that for me.
As a random fact, I think I threw it in there at the end, but AUI is actually the most efficient Phantom Lancer player, according to datdota.com. So
Oh, is he really?
He might have been nitpicking, guys, but the man knows what he's talking about. So with all that being said, I think the story for this game is just congratulations to the Alliance. They are 4-0. They are guaranteed a first-place finish in the group stage. That doesn't mean they win the event, and there's a big gap in prize money between actually winning the first place or the playoff match for first place and just finishing first in the groups. But guaranteed top 2 finish. Already they've made their Western fans proud, and that's pretty much it. So any final comments, Blitz?
No, I'd love to see if Alliance can go 5-0 in this set, though, especially since everyone always says that Western teams are so much weaker, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. Kawa, let's take one more look at our groups, then we'll show the matches coming up. So quickly look at the groups now. Hopefully they're updated if Kawa hasn't been slacking. 4-0 for the Alliance. Invictus Gaming, well, they're not second place, so that's the one small thing we got to fix here. But IG City at 1-2. LGD, they're 3-1. The only undefeated team now is the Alliance. IG, well, they're slightly ahead of DK and Liquid, but they have their work cut out for them. They're the one team who hasn't played the Alliance yet, so possibly they could lose another game there, and that could throw things a wrench into their plans. So with that being said, we have our updated standings. Thank you very much, Kawa. Great work by you. And that pretty much covers up the group stages, so let's take a look at the schedule, see what we have coming up.
Yes.
And it's going to be as our next match, followed by IG versus Liquid. Going to be tough for Liquid. And last but not least, Orange versus LGD. Both of these teams are now 3-1, so that's actually a pretty important match. I think that's going to decide second place.
Yeah, definitely. I think LGD is a team. I mean, that was the first time I've seen Zhao actually lose with that Kunkka pick. So that's something I'm really excited to see. And I think Orange's aggressive playstyle,
Yeah.
it'll make for some fireworks in that series.
Absolutely. So, guys, thank you all very much for tuning in. We're delighted to have you here all. If you're watching on Twitch, you should go to the G1 website, g1.2p.com, and they do have a widescreen viewing option. So thanks all for joining us. We have more games coming up, guys. This was only our 4th match. We have 5 more group stage matches before it's all said and done. So stay tuned. And coming up next will be Orange versus DK right after this.